Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host, Terry, and today talking about Deshaun Watson, the situation that is growing. So, discussed this not too long ago and kind of what the situation was, and it has grown since then. I mean, you started off with about two suits, I should say, and then that has grown to 14 now, and I think they said there's over 24, not cases, but I forgot what they said. I want to say like 24 accusations or something, but still it is 14 individual women filing suit. So obviously some of them have multiple, but 14, that's a huge number. So we talked about the situation, all those different things, but now I think it's reached a different level, and I think people are having a very different conversation at this point. Especially, like, I think last time I was really responding to a lot of just idiotic comments and just terrible stuff. And it was more about the idea of how we treat these things. This time, it's still kind of how we treat these things, but it is very much a conversation of what happens to Watson's future at this point, or at least the near future. So there are people suggesting he should go on the commissioner's exempt list. There are some people suggesting that he should be cut or suspended, a number of different things. And so overall, I think about it, and it is a tough situation, don't get me wrong. But despite what it looks like at the moment, I don't think anything should happen to Deshaun Watson right now. Because for a number of reasons. Number one, starting with the fact that he's not found guilty of anything. And then beyond that, these are all civil suits. These aren't criminal charges. And beyond that, and probably the bigger picture, nothing has happened yet as far as the trial. So, I was listening to a couple media people and looking at some of the conversations online, and this idea that they have to do something. And that to me is problematic. I mean, that goes well beyond the NFL and into our society today. This idea that it always has to look like we're doing something. And that's usually what people call for. Like this idea that people, in this particular example, the NFL needs to condemn this type of behavior. Everybody, they need to come out and condemn it. What does that do? Okay, we condemn this. We don't agree with this. And then what? That don't mean anything. But people want to feel better. They want the perception to look good. And it's the same thing, I think, with the commissioner's exempt list, which honestly, I don't really like that thing at all. It's nothing but a media shell. That's all it really is. It's a ploy for you to tuck somebody away, say, okay, we did something without actually doing anything. And I mean anything, because that person's still getting paid. That person, isn't suspended or anything. The person can't play and they can't practice, but they're getting paid to do nothing, especially if they're never going to come to a conclusion of anything. Then they'll just be right back into the saddle like nothing happened. So you're not really doing anything but tucking them away. Like I said, media shell, tucking them away from these media headlines. And so I don't understand what that's going to do. And I heard, and I know this is a lightning rod of a person, but I heard Molly talking on First Take as well today, talking about how they need to do something to show that they stand with women and that they protect women. And I'm just like, what? Like, Deshaun being on exempt list, not being able to practice. We're not in week 6 of the season. We're in March of the off season. He ain't doing nothing right now. And so even if you thought this was going to extend a long time, He's just going to miss OTAs, like in training camp maybe. He ain't missing games, and even whatever he misses, he getting paid. But on top of that, he wasn't accused of harassing or assaulting women on the field. Like, he wasn't accused of doing that, during practice. He was accused of doing this during his personal life. And so if you're going to say you can't practice and you can't play, where do you think Deshaun Watson going to be at? He's going to be out in his personal life. So if you do think that this is something that he's done, or if you are using that hypothetical, you ain't doing nothing, giving him more time to do it. So I don't understand what's protective about making Deshaun not be able to practice. Just in the exact terms of what people are asking for, it really doesn't accomplish anything. And again, what it does accomplish is only perception-wise, to say that, hey, we did something. So obviously it's allegations. And for some reason, people seem to think that if you don't do something, you don't think the allegations are serious. Like, you could still think they're serious and still wait for the process to happen. And that's what the NFL got caught up with before, and what a lot of people was calling unfair, because there was being punishment levied before the process even happened. And so anyway, you got a situation where you are in the court system. Things have been filed. He has a lawyer. They made their statement. He doesn't have to, but I'm sure his lawyer might prepare a statement at some point. Deshaun denied this, and then you're going to go to court. They're going to figure it out. But to say that the NFL needs to do something right now, I don't think is accurate. But bigger than that, well, I wouldn't say bigger than that, but separate from that is the trade market. Like, people were speculating, does this help or hurt? I'm like, I said the first time, this hurts it. It doesn't do anything to help to have somebody battled with something that's very serious. And so now that it's gotten to this point, not that I know for certain, but from at least the people that claim to have sources, they're saying that the market's dead right now. Because who's going to trade for Deshaun Watson before knowing what the facts are and what might happen with him? And so it's not well, I guess maybe you could look at it this way, but it's not really a spot where he can get away from the Texans, because the Texans might be his only hope. But the thing, again, as I said, is that if he goes on the exempt list, they can cut him. They can get rid of his contract. They won't have to. They could back away from all that money. Not just like, oh, you owe me to. No, they could back away from whatever they want in that contract if he goes on the exempt list. And so it doesn't become like this big benefit for the Texans, or at least I should say in the sense of keeping Deshaun, because other teams don't want him and they wanted to keep him. But again, as I said last time, do they want him? Do they want to have somebody like this? And not only somebody like this that's going through this, but has that type of cap hit and probably won't be available to you. It's a possibility that they get rid of him. Now, if you asking me, what do I think will happen? And again, I don't know. I always speculate. So I think Deshaun's definitely going to continue to play. And I mean, even I would say at worst, if it comes out like they got the evidence, and from I forgot how many, but everybody represented by that one big lawyer from the Texas area, he said he's submitting evidence from multiple women. And so if it comes out here's the transcript, here's the text, everything, he did this and there's no defending it, then I think honestly at worst, he's going to be found guilty. He's going to settle it in court. They're going to have the record sealed, and then they're going to move on. And they may or may not suspend Deshaun Watson. And I mean may or may not, because if this concludes in like September or, something like that, then like when the season's already going, bro, they will not, and it's not catching headlines. They'll just keep moving past it. I guarantee you, if they get to a point where they can't suspend, or I shouldn't say can't, but I don't think they will suspend him until they figure out the facts. So if this matter goes into the season where he's already playing and they haven't suspended him, bro, I think they'll be like, okay, he lost, he paid the money, and that was it. And we won't get those records, and they'll keep on pushing. But if it comes out like tomorrow, which obviously it won't, but let's say it came out in the next few weeks where, again, it's off season, we got the draft coming up, but not a lot going on, then people going to fixate on it and it'll become an issue. But again, I think just worst case scenario, he did all this. Honestly, what would happen is, again, he pay his fine. He'll probably shut up about getting traded, and I don't know 100% how the Texans feel about this. So if they don't care, then he's going to shut up about getting traded and keep playing. Or if they're got a sour taste in their mouth from this, then they're going to trade him to somebody that doesn't care about it, and they won't get a king's ransom. They'll get like way less compensation than we were expecting. So that's how I think it's going to play out. That's typically how I think it'll go. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, as of right now, he's kind of on the blacklist, and things look very serious. And so we'll have to wait and see. But I said this in last episode, but I'll reiterate it again. This stuff's serious, man. Like the whole group of people saying it's a conspiracy, or a group of people saying that people lying, or they just trying to get money. It is so dismissive to people with real stories. And I, like many people, agree, like, yes, people shouldn't lie and, make false accusations because it makes it harder for the next person, 100%. But just because somebody did make a false accusation or whatever, that has nothing to do on these personal people or this particular incident. You don't know what happened. And so they need to allow this to be as serious as it is until they figure out if it's true or not. And so I'm definitely not here or going to tolerate any of that ridiculous talk. So I definitely stand with everybody getting their due process. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, things have taken a sharp turn for Deshaun Watson. So that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.